So today we're talking about distance, midpoint, and bisector, and we want to be able to find the segment bisector. Any segment, line, or plane that intersects a segment at its midpoint. All right, so the first thing we want to talk about is what it means to be a bisector. So that's going to be broken down into two words. First word is bi, and the second word is sect. So we got two parts there. And what that means is the sect portion of it means to cut. And the bi portion of it means to. So basically when we say segment bisector, we're going to cut something into two parts. So in this case, the bisector is the thing that's doing the cutting. So if you're thinking about making a peanut butter sandwich and you want to cut it in half, the bisector is the knife. So the segment bisector, that is the knife that is doing the cutting. And in this case, the segment bisector is going to be line N. All right. And if it says bisector, then it's intersecting at the midpoint and it's cutting it into two congruent parts or two equal parts. That's why right here we have two congruent marks and right here we have two congruent marks. That means AM is equal to MB. Okay. So the midpoint theorem, if M is the midpoint of line segment AB, then line segment AM is congruent to line segment MB. We can say that, we can change that into values by removing the bars on the top of everything. And we can just say the distance from A to M is equal to the distance from M to B. So if we're talking about values, remember we remove the segment above each, and remove the squiggly mark above the equal sign, and that is a true state. These are both true statements. Now we're going to look at an example here. So we have the reason that we know that in example 5 that this point is the midpoint is because of these congruent marks. So if there were two congruent marks here and two congruent marks here, they would still be congruent. We just want to make sure that we have matching congruent marks. So I'm going to write some letters on here. I'm going to call this one point A, I'm going to call this one point M, and I'm going to call this one point B. So now we can say AM is equal to MB So we have our statement written, and now we can substitute the values in. We know that AM is equal to 3x, so I'm going to substitute 3x in for AM. We know that MB is equal to 4x minus 12, so I'm going to substitute in 4x minus 12. Now that we have it all set up, we just have to we want to get the x's together, so I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides of the equal sign because of inverse operations. And the reason that we did that is because we want to get rid of this 4x and that 4x on that side. So 3x minus 4x is going to be negative 1x, which is equal to negative 12. And then we want to get x by itself, so we have to divide both sides by negative 1. And we get x is equal to 12. Then to finish it out, a lot of the times in these example problems, we'll have to say, what's the value of each side? So we will take our x value and substitute it into AM. So AM is equal to 3, and we said the x value was equal to 12. So 3 times 12 is 36. Okay. Now, because we know that AM is equal to MB, because of the segment, because M is the midpoint, we also know that MB is also equal to 36. Okay. So we have another example here, and it's a little bit different. Example 5, it gave us the left and right side. Example or practice 3, it gave us the whole thing and then just one side. But the drawings are the same. It says, we'll label these drawings, label these points as W, X, Y. So in this case, because of these congruent marks here, we know that XY is equal to 2x plus 10, but we also know that WX is equal to 2x plus 10 because they are congruent. Now we have enough information that we could solve for x, but we want to write our statement first. So we'll say WX plus XY is equal to WY. So now we have our segment addition statement written down, and now we can substitute our values in. WX is equal to 2x plus 10 plus XY is 2x plus 10, and WY is equal to 6x. Now we want to combine like terms. We have a 2x and a 2x. That becomes 4x. And we have a positive 10 and a positive 10. That becomes plus 20. And that is still equal to 6x. Now we want to get our x's together. So I'm going to subtract 4x from the left side. And the reason that we subtracted 4x from the left side is because we wanted to cancel that x out. So we got rid of that. So on the left side, we're equal to 20. And on the right side, we're equal to 2x. Then we can divide both sides by 2. And we get x is equal to 10. And then the last thing, if we wanted to find out the full value of each of these, let's say we wanted to find out what the value of WY was. So we know WY is equal to 6x. So we can substitute 10 in. And we get 60. So if we know WY is 60 and we know these two are congruent, we know that each one of those is going to be equal to 30. So we know WX equals 30, and we know XY equals 30.